There's a house in Queensland for $95,000. That's not a typo. Under 6 figures, with land and an actual freehold title you can hold in your hand. While people spend their weekends at open homes in Brisbane watching 3-bedroom units sell for $600,000, there are houses with land sitting in towns across Queensland that most people scroll past without a second thought. Real properties, real prices, and real trade-offs that rarely get talked about. We found 10 Queensland properties under $250,000 with land. From $250,000 in a proper mining city with a hospital and university campus, down to $95,000 in a town where 348 people call home and the library arrives on a van twice a month. Some of these are in places with 24-hour emergency departments and multiple schools. Others are where the nearest hospital is 46 kilometers away and your kids do high school by distance education. Property number 4 costs under $200,000 but gets you a full Woolworths and a hospital. Property number 2 needs work but costs $120,000 on nearly half an acre. And property number 1 costs $95,000, less than a new ute, which sounds impossible until you see exactly what $95,000 buys you and what it asks you to give up. If you've ever wondered what's actually available when people talk about affordable regional property, this isn't a highlight reel, it's the full picture. The good towns, the isolated towns, and the towns where you need to ask yourself hard questions about what you're willing to trade for ownership. Like this video so the algorithm stops hiding regional Queensland content. Subscribe because we're covering more next week. Let's see what nobody tells you about buying dirt cheap Queensland property. Property number 10, 39 Brett Avenue, Mount Isa. $250,000 for a 3-bedroom brick house in Mount Isa. And I know what you're thinking, that's not even cheap for regional Queensland. But Mount Isa isn't regional Queensland in the way people imagine when they're scrolling Gumtree at midnight. It's a city, a real one. This is 39 Brett Avenue in Healy, which is a suburb of Mount Isa proper. Low-sit brick construction on 832 square meters with timber floors. Split system air conditioning in every bedroom plus the main living area. A updated kitchen with stone bench tops, tiled bathroom, separate toilet, internal laundry, carport, garden shed, and full fencing. Tenanted until January 2026 at $400 a week, which means you're either buying for yield or negotiating an early exit with the tenant if you want to move in. Mount Isa has 18,000 to 22,000 people depending on whether the mines are hiring. It has an 80-bed hospital with a birthing unit, renal dialysis, and level 4 emergency capability. It has multiple primary schools, 2 high schools, Woolworths, Coles, KFC, a cinema, and a James Cook University campus. The Mount Isa Rodeo is the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere. This is not a town clinging to life. This is a functioning regional city with infrastructure that works. But here's what makes Mount Isa different from every other place on this list. It's 900 kilometers from Brisbane, 1800 from Cairns. The nearest beach is Townsville, which is a 9-hour drive through nothing. You don't pop down the coast from Mount Isa. You book flights, you plan. Summer hits 45 degrees regularly, not as a record, but as a seasonal pattern. The air feels like standing in front of an industrial dryer. The economy is copper, zinc, lead, and silver mining. If you're not in mining, you're servicing mining. If the mines slow down, everything slows down. If you need specialist medical treatment beyond what the hospital offers, you're flying out. If you lose your mining job and there's no other mining job available, your options are to leave or retrain into something that doesn't exist here at scale. At $250, you're getting a legitimate house in a city with services that work, but you're also buying complete geographic isolation. Your social world will be whoever's in town. Your holidays will cost more and take longer. Your connection to the rest of the country will be mediated by flight schedules and fuel prices. This works if you're already in mining and you understand isolation. It doesn't work if you're romanticizing regional life from a Brisbane rental. Would you accept 900 kilometers of isolation for city-level services at $250? Yes or no in the comments. And if you think Mount Isa distance is the worst trade-off, wait until Property 9, where $249 gets you something completely different. Property number 9, 11 Flinders Street, Collinsville, $249,000 for a 3-bedroom Queenslander in Collinsville. Same price as Mount Isa, but the comparison ends there. Where Mount Isa gives you scale and isolation, Collinsville gives you a 24-hour emergency department, 87 kilometers from the ocean. This is 11 Flinders Street, high-set timber on 1,012 square meters with polished floors throughout, renovated kitchen and bathroom, full air conditioning, internal laundry, sleep out that functions as a 4th bedroom or office, rear deck, garden shed, full fencing, 3 formal bedrooms, 1 bathroom, tenanted at $300 a week. Collinsville has 1,496 people. It has 2 supermarkets, actual full-line stores, not service stations with canned goods, 2 fuel stations, a pharmacy, a bakery, a newsagent, a hardware store, schools that run through year 12, which means your kids aren't boarding or homeschooling if you move here. And critically, it's 87 kilometers from Bowen, which is a coastal town with beaches, cafes, and the kind of amenities that make weekends feel normal. The town has a 24-hour emergency department. There's an Olympic pool, upgraded sports facilities, and a new community centre under construction for 2026 completion. This isn't a town in managed decline, this is a town with active infrastructure investment. Collinsville's economy runs on coal mining and cattle. Jobs exist, but they're cyclical. When coal prices are strong, the town hires. When prices drop, people leave. The population has fluctuated between 1,200 and 2,000 over the last decade, depending on mine activity. But unlike pure mining camps, Collinsville has agricultural fallback. The cattle industry doesn't boom, but it doesn't bust either. This property sold for $107,000 in late 2024. Now it's listed at $249. That's $142,000 in appreciation in under 2 years. But it's not market explosion, it's a renovation flip. Someone bought it cheap, upgraded the kitchen and bathroom, added air conditioning, and is now selling at market rate. The median 3-bedroom price in Collinsville is $205,000. So this is above median, but justified by the upgrades. At $249 for a renovated Queenslander with hospital access, schools, shopping, and coastal proximity, you're getting the best services to price ratio in regional Queensland. But you're still in a town of 1,500 people. Career progression is limited. Social circles are small. The nearest movie theatre is in Townsville, 2 hours away. Uber Eats doesn't exist. You're trading urban convenience for affordability and space. This works if you can accept small-town constraints for financial breathing room. It doesn't work if you need professional mobility or cultural variety. Could you live in a town of 1,500 if it had hospital access and beaches nearby? Yes or pass? Drop your answer and hold that thought, because Property 8 is in the same town for the same price with a completely different layout. Property number 8. 9 Carpet Street, Collinsville, $249 for a 2-bedroom house in Collinsville on Carpet Street. Same town, same hospital, same schools, same coastal access. Different configuration. This is 9 Carpet Street, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, but with 3-meter-high ceilings, a massive sleep-out that could convert to a 3rd bedroom, painted timber floors, full air conditioning, and significant under-house space that includes a second living area, storage, laundry, and workshop potential. The block is 1,012 square meters, partly fenced. Same Collinsville fundamentals we just covered. The difference is history. This property sold for $65,000 in 2020. Now it's listed at $249. That's $184,000 in 5 years. That's not passive appreciation. That's someone identifying an undervalued asset, investing in upgrades, and repositioning it at market rate. The high ceilings, the under-house development, the paint and finishes, all of that is post-purchase value add. You're getting 2 formal bedrooms instead of 3, but you're compensating with ceiling height that makes rooms feel larger, a sleep out with conversion potential, and under-house space that functions as additional living area if you're willing to finish it properly. This isn't a 2-bedroom compromise, it's a 2-bedroom with expansion options if you've got tools and weekends. At $249, you're paying the same as the Flinders Street property, but getting flexibility instead of finished product. It doesn't work if you need 3 bedrooms from day one and you're not interested in renovation projects. Would you take a 2-bedroom with expansion potential over a finished 3-bedroom at the same price? Property number 7, 19 Spring Crescent, Dysart. $248,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Dysart on Spring Crescent. And Dysart isn't some forgotten outpost. It's a coal seam gas service town with a hospital, an Olympic pool, a 9-hole golf course, a bowling club, schools, shops, and infrastructure that suggests someone built this place to last. This is a high set on 905 square meters with polished hardwood floors, open plan living and dining, split system aircon, built-in wardrobes in all bedrooms, bathroom with separate bath and shower, separate toilet, and a bushland outlook with no rear neighbours. There's internal parking, front parking, under-house storage and workshop space, and room on the block for a shed or pool if you want to add them later. Dysart's population fluctuates with CSG activity, but it's a functioning service town with permanent infrastructure. Dysart Hospital handles medical care. There's a library, a community learning centre, a shire office, schools through year 12, and a local paper. The Olympic pool is free to use. The golf course is cheap. The bowling club is active. This isn't a ghost town waiting to happen. It's a stable service centre that exists as long as the gas fields produce. But here's the risk. Dysart's economy is coal seam gas. The town services the CSG fields in the Bowen Basin, which means employment is strong when energy prices are high and contracts are flowing. During the construction boom, property prices in Dysart hit $400,000. Workers flooded in, demand spiked, then construction ended, the workforce contracted, and prices collapsed. The market has since stabilized at current levels, but stability depends on continued extraction. This property sold for $130,000 in 2024. Now it's listed at $248,000. That's $118,000 in under 2 years. Rental history shows it's achieved $440 to $500 a week, which is strong yield if you're buying for cash flow. But CSG is finite. The field will eventually deplete or become uneconomical. When that happens, Dysart's population will shrink, services will contract, and property values will stagnate or decline. At $248,000 for a 2-bathroom house with privacy and bushland outlook in a town with hospital, pool, and golf. This works if you're planning to live long-term or work in CSG, and you accept the industry won't last forever. It doesn't work if you're expecting capital growth as an exit strategy. Would you buy in a CSG town for space and privacy, knowing the resource has an expiration date? Property number 6, 5 Scott Street, Dysart. $248,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Dysart on Scott Street. Same town, same price, different location and layout. This is 5 Scott Street. High set on 838 square meters in a quiet neighborhood close to schools and shops. Polished timber floors, family room with split system aircon, combined dining, kitchen with built-in oven and electric cooktop, 3 air-conditioned bedrooms with ceiling fans, main bedroom with built-in wardrobe, updated bathroom with vanity, bath, shower, and separate toilet. Underneath the house is partly built in with 2 additional rooms, a second bathroom, separate toilet, storage, and laundry. The value here is the under-house potential. That lower level offers room to expand if you want more living space, a home office, a workshop, or additional bedrooms with council approval. You could finish that area properly and effectively double your functional living space if you're willing to invest time and money. The block is fully fenced with double carport, internal parking, garden shed, front deck, and room for additions. At $248, this works if you value development potential and you're comfortable with CSG industry risk. Would you buy this for the underhouse development potential? Yes or no? Comment below. Property number 5, 39 Railway Road, Collinsville. $220,000 for a 3-bedroom house in Collinsville on Railway Road. This is the third time Collinsville shows up on this list, and that's not random. Collinsville genuinely offers the best services to price ratio in regional Queensland, and at $220,000, this property undercuts the previous Collinsville listings by nearly $30,000. This is 39 Railway Road, 1,062 square meters with timber floors, neat kitchen with pantry, bathroom with shower over tub, full aircon, workshop and laundry under the house. Fully fenced block close to town centre. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, tenanted at $300 a week. The difference is the condition. The Flinders Street property was recently renovated. The Carpet Street property has high ceilings and modern upgrades. This Railway Road property is neat and functional, but dated. You're looking at cosmetic updates if you want it modern. Fresh paint, maybe updated kitchen and bathroom finishes. But the structure is solid and the location works. At $220,000 for a tenanted property in the best serviced regional town on this list, you're getting exceptional value if you're comfortable with cosmetic work or happy to collect rent while you plan upgrades. The median Collinsville price is $205,000, so this is $15,000 above median, but justified by the location and rental income. This works if you're buying for yield or you're willing to renovate over time. It doesn't work if you need move-in perfection. Property number 4, 10 Dysart Street, Collinsville, $199,000 for a 3-bedroom Queenslander in Collinsville on Dysart Street. We've crossed under $200,000 while staying in the best serviced town on this list, which is remarkable. This is 10 Dysart Street, 2-level Queenslander on 1,012 square meters with recent upgrades including solar panels, which matters in a climate where aircon runs 6 months a year. Separate living and dining areas, galley kitchen with bench and cupboard space, spacious bathroom with shower and vanity, some aircon installed, shade trees in the front garden, stairs to front and rear, 2 carport spaces, ample off-street parking, concreted under-house area with laundry and workshop storage space, fully fenced, NBN available. Rental appraisals suggest $400 to $420 a week. Here's what makes this compelling. The median Collinsville price is $205,000. At $199,000, you're $6,000 below median for a property with solar panels and recent renovations. You're under $200,000 with hospital access, schools, shopping, and 87 kilometers to the coast. The solar panels alone save you hundreds a year in power bills in a town where summer temperatures regularly hit 38 degrees. At $199,000 for a solar-equipped Queenslander in a town with full services and coastal proximity, this works if you can accept living in a small town where career options are limited and social circles are constrained by population. It doesn't work if you need professional advancement or cultural variety. Would you buy sub $200,000 in Collinsville for hospital access and coastal proximity? Property number 3, 7 Beresford Crescent, Dysart, $160,000 for a 3-bedroom house in Dysart on Beresford Crescent. We're now in ultra-affordable territory, and this property shows you what the lower end of the market looks like in a CSG town with hospital access. This is 7 Beresford Crescent, high set on 800 square meters with elevated front veranda, air-conditioned lounge flowing into dining and kitchen, 3 carpeted bedrooms, bathroom with shower over bath, secure underhouse parking for 2 vehicles, storage, additional off-street parking, established shade trees, privacy and space. At $160,000, you're getting all the Dysart benefits for $88,000 less than the Spring Crescent and Scott Street properties. The trade-off is condition. This property is livable but dated. You're looking at cosmetic renovations, fresh paint, maybe new flooring in a few rooms, updated kitchen and bathroom finishes. The bones are solid, the structure is sound. You're dealing with aesthetics, not foundation problems. Would you buy at $160 in a CSG town for ultra affordability, knowing you'll need to renovate? Yes or pass? Comment below. Property number 2, 10 Hamilton Street, Collinsville. $120,000 for a 3-bedroom house on almost half an acre of land in Collinsville. This is 10 Hamilton Street. Classic Queenslander layout on a massive 1,910 square metre corner block. 3 bedrooms upstairs, kitchen, bathroom, lounge and dining downstairs, separate toilet, front patio, rear storage, water tank. The walls are corrugated iron painted green. The kitchen is basic. The bathroom works, but it's dated. The bedrooms have metal framed beds that look salvaged. This is not move-in ready unless you're comfortable camping indoors while you renovate on weekends. Here's what you're actually buying. You're buying 1,910 square meters of land in a town with a 24-hour emergency department, schools through year 12, shopping, fuel, and 87 kilometers to beaches. You're buying a structurally sound house that needs cosmetic and modern updates, and you're buying it for $120,000, which is $129,000 less than the renovated Flinders Street property we started with. The listing mentions potential subdivision subject to council approval, which means you could theoretically split the block and sell half. But subdivision in regional towns isn't always profitable because demand is thin and buyers are scarce. Collinsville's median price is $205,000. This is listed at $120,000. That's an $85,000 gap. If you put $50,000 into renovations, you'd have a house potentially worth $200,000 or more. But Collinsville's market is slow. Listings sit for months. If you renovate this and need to sell quickly, you might wait 6 to 12 months for the right buyer. At $120,000 for a house with land in a service town, this works if you're willing to renovate and you're planning long-term occupancy, not a flip. It doesn't work if you need a finished product, if you're uncomfortable with DIY work, or if you're expecting quick resale. Would you take on a fixer-upper for $120,000 if it meant building equity through renovation? And if you think $120,000 is as cheap as it gets, wait until you see property 1. Property number 1, 45 Bowen Street, Banana. $95,000 for a property in Banana, Queensland. Population 348. The entire town could fit in a regional cinema with seats left over. And this is where we end, because this property shows you exactly what happens when price hits the absolute floor in regional Queensland. This is 45 Bowen Street. This isn't a house in the traditional sense. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom setup on 2,023 square meters, consisting of removable accommodation, a shed, and 2 dongas. 1 air-conditioned for living, 1 for storage. There's a bathroom with shower, toilet, basin, septic system, poly water tank. That's it. The listing markets this as having man cave vibes and significant development potential, which translates to, it's rough, but you've got land to build on if you want. Sold as is, where is. Banana has a hotel/motel, 2 petrol stations, and a primary school with 37 students. There's no high school. Nearest high school is Mora or Billowela, 46 kilometers away. There's no hospital. Nearest hospital is Billowela, 46 kilometers. There's no shopping beyond the hotel and servos. The library is a mobile unit that visits fortnightly. The library is a van that drives through twice a month. The population is aging, predominantly 60 to 69. The town sits at the intersection of the Dawson and Leichhardt highways, which means daily fuel stops from travellers, but not economic growth. The economy is beef, coal, and agriculture, but at a population of 348. Employment opportunities are minimal. At $95,000, you're getting land ownership for less than a new Toyota, but you're also getting extreme isolation, minimal services, no hospital, no high school, and a property that's essentially a camp setup with a shed. The value is in the 2,000 plus square meter block. which you could potentially build on, but you'd need council approval, construction costs, and the willingness to live in a town where the mobile library is your main cultural infrastructure. This works if you're already working in the area and you need cheap accommodation with land for future development. It doesn't work for anyone else. Would you buy this for $95,000 knowing what you're actually getting? Yes or absolutely not? Drop your answer. Conclusion: 10 dirt cheap Queensland properties from $250,000 in Mount Isa to $95,000 in Banana. Some in towns with hospitals and schools. Some in towns where the library comes on a van twice a month. All offering land, space, and an escape from capital city pricing, but every single one demanding you honestly assess what you're willing to trade for ownership. If you made it this far, hit like and subscribe, and remember, the cheapest property isn't always the best deal. Sometimes the real cost is what you can't see in the listing.